Safety and efficacy of bempedoic acid to reduce LDL cholesterol. What is bempedoic acid? Bempedoic acid is a drug developed by Spirium Therapeutics for the treatment of hypercholesterolemia.
1 in 4 Americans takes cholesterol-lowering drugs called statins. They work, but often cause painful side effects, primarily muscle pain. Jack Manley says he could barely walk when he was on the medication.
It was very discomforting, yeah, and it was constant leg cramps.
Now a new study in today's New England Journal of Medicine is reporting that an experimental medication called bempedoic acid, taken along with a statin, reduced cholesterol by 18%.
This medicine could help a lot of people. Many people can't take a high dose of a powerful statin. So particularly we use combinations, 2 medications, sometimes lower doses, to get the same effect.
Jack took the drug along with his low-dose statin as part of a clinical trial.
Woo, girl.
His cholesterol is now down nearly 100 points, and he says he's feeling better than ever.
I want to be able to enjoy my grandchildren, so it's very important.
The drug is now under FDA review and could be approved early next year. It's expected to cost $3,500 a year. Dr. John Torres, NBC News, New York.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for...
Application in medicine. Short-term studies have shown that bempedoic acid, an inhibitor of ATP citrate reduce level of low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol. Data are limited regarding the safety and efficacy of bempedoic acid treatment in long-term studies involving patients with hypercholesterolemia who are receiving guideline-recommended statin therapy.
Welcome to First Word Pharma's News Roundup for May 23rd, brought to you today by editorial researcher Olivia Roger. In our top news story, results from a Phase 3 study showed that the combination of Merck & Co.'s Keytruda and chemotherapy extended overall survival and progression-free survival versus chemotherapy alone. The Keynote 407 trial investigated the anti-PD-1 therapy as a first-line treatment for patients with metastatic squamous non-small cell lung cancer. Also in the news, the FDA extended its review of Teva's filing seeking approval of fremanezumab for the preventive treatment of migraine by 3 months to September 16th. The company noted that there are no additional data requests from the agency related to the anti-CGRP therapy. In other news, a Phase 3 study of Esperian's bempedoic acid in high-risk patients with atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease met its main goal. Top-line results showed that the experimental drug lowered LDL cholesterol by 23% at 12 weeks in the intent-to-treat analysis versus a reduction of 1% for placebo. In addition, FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb said the agency will be unveiling guidance documents that will lay out potential accelerated approval endpoints for certain gene therapy products. According to the commissioner, the FDA will initially focus on gene therapies for hemophilia, where factor production could in some cases be sufficient as a surrogate measure of benefit. And finally, a U.S. court jury convicted former Valeant Pharmaceuticals executive Gary Tanner and former Philidor Rx Services CEO Andrew Davenport of using a kickback scheme to defraud the pharmaceutical company. The charges allege that Tanner used his position at Valeant to facilitate deals that helped advance Davenport's interests by having Valeant pay Philidor over $40 million and potentially tens of millions of additional dollars. To read these and other stories in full, please visit firstwordpharma.com.
Pros and cons. In a study, it reduced LDL cholesterol by about 20 mg per deciliter compared to placebo and had no more side effect than placebo. Cons. Also, a higher percent of drug receiving patients dropped out of the study because of side effects, 11% versus 7% under placebo.
I'm Peter Block at ACC 2019 in New Orleans, and on my left is Ann Goldberg from WashU in St. Louis. And I guess I could say at the beginning, bempedoic acid, a new compound, interesting one. And what does bempedoic acid do?
So bempedoic acid works at a step before HMG-CoA reductase in the cholesterol synthesis pathway. So it works by decreasing cholesterol production in the liver. Thus you get an upregulation of LDL cholesterol levels and a decrease in LDL cholesterol.
Okay, so is this like a statin?
So it is like a statin in that it works in the same pathway, but it is a step before the statins. And it is different because it works primarily in the liver and does not seem to have any effect in muscle.
Okay, so that's probably a good thing, isn't it?
It looks like it would be a helpful thing.
Is it worse in the liver? Do you get more liver enzyme abnormalities than statins, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, no. So it's bempedoic acid is a prodrug, and it's converted to an active drug by an enzyme that's primarily present in the liver and not present in skeletal muscle.
I see. Okay, so even though we've been talking about sort of basic science here, it's important because this is an important new drug. And tell me about your study, Ann.
So this is a study in people who were at high risk. They had either cardiovascular disease, atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, or they could also have heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia. And they were randomized to bempedoic acid or placebo in addition to maximally tolerated statins plus or minus another lipid-lowering therapy.
So, in fact, this is an addition drug.
This is an addition drug.
Okay, so what happened with your outcomes? I mean, you're obviously measuring what?
So the primary outcome was LDL cholesterol reduction at week 12. The study went on for 52 weeks. And the main effect was that there was a 17% drop in LDL cholesterol in bempedoic acid compared to placebo.
Okay, so how does that compare to the statin group?
So it's not as much as what you see with statins, but it is definitely a good reduction, and it's actually a greater reduction than you see when you double a statin dose.
Okay, and in fact, if it has fewer peripheral side effects, that would be a plus in favor of bempedoic acid, wouldn't it?
Right, so if it's got fewer peripheral side effects, then it would obviously be something that would be helpful in people who can't take a lot of statin or who need additional LDL lowering in addition to statin.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a study that really sort of opens the shades on a new era of possibly lowering LDL. Is that a fair statement?
I think this is it's a first-in-class drug. It has a definite possibility to be a very good addition to the armamentarium for lowering LDL.
Okay, so I asked you a question before, I'll ask it again. In a statin-naive patient, would you, from what you know now, consider bempedoic acid? Now, obviously, you don't have outcomes data yet.
Right, the outcomes trial has actually been started and is underway, but this is definitely a drug that one would consider to use in a statin intolerant patient.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of statin intolerant patients out there, or at least they say they are.
If you really look closely at all the different studies, it looks about 10% of people can't take any statin.
Right, so there really are a significant number that have inability to take a statin.
Correct.
Okay, so what's the take-home message from your perspective on this study?
So it looks like a very good possible addition to LDL lowering therapy, and it's about a 17% drop in LDL in this compared to placebo in the group of people studied who are very high risk. So it looks like it's going to be possibly a very useful drug.
Not FDA approved yet.
It is not FDA approved. Actually, application has been submitted to the FDA.
Okay, so for those of you out there who take care of patients with high cholesterol, particularly statin-intolerant patients, keep your eye on bempedoic acid. My guess is, and Ann's guess is, it's going to be a drug that we probably will use. Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
Issues apply in Ecuador. In Ecuador is one of the biggest problems and the most affected population is Esmeralda, due to the great incidence of black people on that location.
Cholesterol, You hear the word all the time, but what does it really mean, and why should you care?
Cholesterol is a waxy, fat-like substance found in the bloodstream and in cells throughout the body. Because it often has negative connotations, it may surprise you to learn that cholesterol is not inherently bad. In fact, this naturally occurring substance plays a critical role in the formation of cell membranes and the manufacture of hormones. But you only need a small amount of cholesterol to carry out these functions. So when too much cholesterol is present in your body, it becomes a health risk. To understand this more fully, let's look at how cholesterol works. Cholesterol doesn't dissolve in the bloodstream. Instead, it's transported in and out of cells by carriers called low-density lipoproteins, or LDL, and high-density lipoproteins, or HDL. When the amount of cholesterol in the bloodstream increases, the body needs to create additional lipoproteins to transport them. LDL is known as bad cholesterol because too much of it results in plaque buildup on the arterial walls. This condition, known as atherosclerosis, hardens and clogs the arteries, which can lead to a heart attack or stroke. HDL, on the other hand, has been dubbed good cholesterol because it aids in removing cholesterol from the body, carrying it away from the arteries to the liver, where it's passed out of the body. Determining your cholesterol level can be done with a simple blood test. The normal level of cholesterol for any individual varies depending upon their age, weight, and sex. Typically, though, an LDL level above 160 is considered high. Similarly, an HDL level below 40 is usually too low. Both high LDL levels and low HDL levels can put you at risk for plaque buildup. About 75% of the cholesterol in the blood is made by your liver and other cells in your body. The other 25% comes from the food you eat. Cholesterol is found in animal products like meat, eggs, poultry, and liver, which is a particularly high source. This is why eating less saturated fat from animals is a good first step toward lowering your cholesterol to a healthy level. Because high cholesterol can be a big risk factor for both heart disease and stroke, managing your levels is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. If you think you may have high cholesterol, or if you have a family history of the condition, please see your doctor for a test.
Want to learn more? Check out other videos and sources on this site for more information.
Conclusion. In my conclusion, Bempedoic acid offers a safe and effective oral therapeutic option for lipid lowering in patients who cannot tolerate statin. Thank you.
New cholesterol pill promising a new type of drug, called bempedoic acid, could offer another weapon in the fight against bad cholesterol. An international study suggests the pill lowers cholesterol in people who continue to have high levels despite taking other drugs such as statins. And scientists suggest the new therapy may also work as an alternative for people who are unable to take statins because of side effects. The research is published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Researchers say they have asked UK and US drug regulators to consider whether to approve the pill. Cardiovascular disease kills about 150,000 people in the UK each year. Bad cholesterol is one of the main reasons. It leads to blood vessels furring up and becoming easy to block. Blockages can be fatal, starving the heart or brain of oxygen and causing heart attacks and strokes. Cutting saturated fat and having a healthy diet, along with regular exercise, can help lower bad cholesterol. But this doesn't work for everyone. And, for some, genetic conditions, rather than lifestyle, increase their levels. Millions of people worldwide are prescribed drugs, most commonly statins, to reduce the amount of bad cholesterol in the blood. But reported side effects and how often these drugs are prescribed has attracted controversy. The new drug works by blocking a key enzyme in the body used to make cholesterol. Professor Nilesh Samani of the British Heart Foundation charity says, on the whole, statins do a great job of lowering cholesterol. However, this new drug could provide real benefit for the few people who can't take them or require additional treatments to get it to the right level. The research suggests that it has the potential to reduce risk of heart attacks and strokes without major side effects. The study involved more than 1,000 people who had cardiovascular disease or a genetic cholesterol condition and who were already on cholesterol-lowering drugs, mainly statins. They were given a pill of bempedoic acid every day for a year, on top of their usual medication. About 700 others were instead given a placebo or dummy pill. After 3 months, the group who had taken the new pill had cut their bad cholesterol by 17% compared with the group given a dummy pill. Prof. Kaushik Ray, from Imperial College London, says bempedoic acid could be another addition to the arsenal of cholesterol-lowering treatments available to patients. What we have is a new class of drug that could be given to patients who are already taking statins and could help them further reduce their cholesterol levels and thus potentially cut their risk of heart attacks and strokes. Every drug has side effects, so it will be up to the patient and doctor to balance the individual benefits and risks. Researchers say the rate of side effects were similar between the group that took bempedoic acid and the group that didn't. One side effect that people on bempedoic acid experienced more was gout, and more people stopped taking the new drug because of side effects than people in the dummy pill group. But unlike statins, researchers say it works in the liver only and cannot reach the muscles. So, some scientists predict it will not have some of the side effects that some people experience with statins. But others are unsure, and more research is needed to see if this is true and understand how many people the new pill could help. Studies so far, of which this latest one is the largest, suggest bempedoic acid can lower bad cholesterol, but we don't yet know how long for or whether this will definitely translate into fewer heart attacks and strokes. Prof. Jane Armitage at the University of Oxford described these latest results as promising. Another genetic study published simultaneously in the New England Journal of Medicine offers clues that the benefits of taking bempedoic acid in terms of preventing heart disease and strokes could be similar to that achieved by statins. But Prof. Armitage added, genetic studies cannot tell us whether the drug will be safe for a wide range of people. A clearer picture of how safe and effective the drug is will emerge once a longer-term trial looking at the number of heart attacks and strokes on the new drug is completed. The U.S. regulator, the Food and Drug Administration, will examine this data once it is available in a few years' time. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and do subscribe to get notified on upcoming videos.
Thank you.